Hello, and welcome to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. My name is Jaimelyn Gray. I am the host of this program, and we are here at the week of Thursday, March 19th of the 2026. And so thank you so much for listening, for watching, for whatever it is that you're doing from wherever it is that you're doing it out there in the internet lands. Welcome. So this week we've got a good interview with a great interview, a fun interview, always with Schmitz and Giggles. We've got Patrick Schmitz and Josh Decker for their duo prov that they're doing this weekend called SHMISH SHMOSH, which I think is just hilarious and makes me giggle, and I just think it's so much fun. And so we'll get to that interview in a little bit. I didn't have time to check the social feeds to see like what little blips of things of little event like one-nighter things and whatnot this week. So make sure that one of the things that you can do is follow all the local companies on your social media platforms that you prefer, and so that you can keep up to date with what's happening. But I do have some events going on this weekend in the Milwaukee Theatre Alliance atmosphere. And so let's get to those right now. First of all, we've got a very happy opening to Is This a Room over there at Milwaukee Chamber Theater. They came in, a couple of artists came and spoke about that last week. And so you can go back and check out that interview last week to see what we talked about with that. This is directed by artistic director Brent Hazelton. I think they're listing March 20th there, Friday. I think that's a preview performance that you can actually go to if you wanna hook into that. I think they've put some information out there on the webs about that. But I think they officially open on the 21st on Saturday, and so it's a great thriller, really governmental thriller about a reality winner, which is actually her name, who was a whistleblower that was caught up in some controversy because of leaks of documents detailing Russian interference in the 2016 election. And they reconfigured the set of the studio at the Broadway Theater Center so that it's more of an alley stage. And you can find all of this on the website there at MilwaukeeChamberTheater.org to see how they're managing this show. But happy opening to them. Get your tickets as soon as you can. I think I saw that this weekend is sold out, except for the preview. And then I think they have a Pay What You Can performance on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So check into all of your things by going to MilwaukeeChamberTheater.org again for that. Then next we have up there, we've got Camille's Rainbow. This is a one weekend only thing, and I believe their first performance is today. And I think these are daytime performances because this is an opera for babies. And so you should really go to the Milwaukee Opera Theater site, Milwaukee Opera Theater, that's a TRE, theatre.org site, to find out all the information that you can. We also did a You've Got a Thing. I did that with Jaimelyn Gray a few weeks back. So, go back through our episodes and you can check out that interview. One of the smartest people I know, Jaimelyn Gray, is. Love her very much. And so it's only a 45-minute opera. So it's for babies and caregivers and adults if you want to check out what an opera for babies looks like, because this is becoming a more more prevalent thing, and that's something that Joanna talks about in her interview. Just research behind, you know, the effect of opera on babies and how it can be good for babies. We know musical things are very good for babies. So, but it's this is coming back from last season because it was such a success. And you step into Camille's enchanting world where music shimmers and colors come to life. And it's an adventure. And it's about Camille searching for her colors. She lost her colors. And so you can check that out. Again, Milwaukee Opera Theatre.org, theatre.org. And so check that out if you wish. Then next we have a very happy opening to Barefoot in the Park over at Renaissance Theater Works. This is directed by Susan Fate, the artistic director. This is kind of her last hurrah, as far as I understand it. This is something that she's like a bucket list production for her, and she's stepping down from her artistic directorship after the show. Finally, classic rom-com by Neil Simon, very funny. Newlyweds are thrilled to move into their New York City apartment, their Manhattan apartment, and chaos ensues from there. When Corey's mother shows up, the wife was a romantic free spirit, and Paul, who's a young lawyer, but Corey's mother shows up, and it's just your classic romantic comedy. And so if you would like to check out all the information about that, you can go to rtwmke.org. That stands for Renaissance Theater Works, Milwaukee.org. rtwmke.org. Happy opening to Renaissance Theater Works for that. And I have them on the schedule coming up next week to talk about that production. So hopefully you can join us next week as well to check out that, all the information about that program. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have the good fellas over the good artists, over at Interchange Theater Co-op. They are the other sort of improv persons hanging around in the Milwaukee Theatre Alliance, and they have great shows Friday and Saturday nights, and then they have their open mic on Sundays. And so you can go to interchangetheater.com to read more about that. But this week they have Purgatorium featuring Hot Mess on Friday night, and the Accountants of Homeland Security present Billionaires in Space on Saturday night. And both of those shows start at 7:30 p.m. Hijinks all around, improv hijinks all around for you to check out in your spare time. So plan your calendar accordingly. That is what we have for this week in the other companies of the Theater Alliance for you to check out there. And so that's what we've got here. And so get to the websites, get to the social medias, get your information as best you can to get your calendar packed for this weekend and see some good stuff. But let's get to the interview with Patrick Schmitz and Josh Decker about their SHMISH SHMOSH duo-prov, and here it is. And today I have back. You two were just here like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago or something like that. So I'm super excited to have you back, but welcoming you for a wholly different experience than what you were here before. Team Schmitz and Decker for your duo-prov called SHMISH SHMOSH from the Schmitz and the Giggles. Sorry, Schmitz Giggles.
Thank you.
So welcome you two back to the You've Got a Thing
Thank you.
I was going to try and say something disparaging about my program, but then I didn't. So anyway, but welcome back. So for people who have no idea who you are and where you come from and why and all the things, and they didn't listen to the podcast, a few weeks back about gruesome playground injuries, can you two, Schmitz, can we start with you? Can you just introduce yourself and what you do in this lifetime?
Sure. I'm Patrick Schmitz. So as far as SHMISH SHMOSH, Josh and I put together a dual improv team. So ideally, we do about 30 minutes or so of just Josh and I up on stage doing as many scenes as possible within that time. And we typically have an opener of Beth and Mike, our friends. So that's Beth Lewinsky and Mike Kauth. So they come up, do an opener, and then we close out the show with SHMISH SHMOSH.
And what is Schmitz and Giggles?
Schmitz and Giggles is a company I started officially 2019, but I've been kind of playing around with writing stuff and improv stuff since 2009. So I guess technically that's when it really started. But it is a company that offers opportunities for people in the area to do sketch comedy, to write, and act and direct different shows, whether those be full-on plays or whether those be comedy sketches. And so we do 12, maybe even 11 events throughout the year.
You guys do a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You are a crazy person.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
It is a compliment, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Mr. Decker, can you tell me a little bit about your journey and how you ended up in this duo-prov?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Josh Decker. I am the SHMOSH and the SHMISH SHMOSH. So I've just been an actor in the Milwaukee area since the high school days. But I've actually met Patrick when I was in high school. He saw me in a show, I believe. I can't remember which one, if it was All My Sons or something. I don't know. But he knew my acting teacher, so he reached out, and I actually did a play with Patrick way back then. And then we just stayed in touch over the years. And then now I text him and call him and beg him to let me do anything that he's got going on in this world. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because if you're watching this program and you don't know anything about or you want to know more about Schmitz and Giggles, beside going to their website, you can go to that podcast that we did just a few weeks back when we were talking about gruesome playground injuries, because you have, Patrick, you have just recently sort of moved into a new vein of more of the drama, because you have completely mastered the comedic realm. And so I feel like this was just like a natural progression for you, that you needed something more in your life.
Yeah. And once we did it once, it got kind of opened up that can of worms for us of saying, let's do this again. And it is pretty common that a lot of times comedians are able to cross over and do
absolutely
drama as well. Matter of fact, some of my favorite actors started out in comedy and then came through with the drama. And I was like, oh, dang. I didn't know that person was capable of that. So it's always a neat thing.
Robin Williams springs to mind. Robin Williams was one of the most amazing dramatic artists after a lifetime of comedy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Jim Carrey with The Eternal Sunshine, when I saw him, I was like, whew, okay. So yeah, and it's fun to not only be a part of that on stage, it's also, as a director, it's fun to see that obviously as well. But that's another thing. I've been getting more on stage than I have in the past as well. And SHMISH SHMOSH is one of those things that I love to take part in on a regular basis. Because I'm either or directing or writing, and now I'm starting to do more on the stage. So.
Yeah, how many times a year do you guys do SHMISH SHMOSH? Like it's a fairly.
I feel like quarterly almost.
Quarterly feels about
every 3 months ish.
Right, yeah. I mean, we have 3 for this year. I think we did 4 last year. and just things kept piling up. Like I wrote a new play with 3 other people that's going to kind of tack on this year, and then gruesome playground injuries. So just kind of filling up the calendar, and there were some spots open. So SHMISH SHMOSH is it's a fairly easy show to put together. That is the thing, you know. You say I'm crazy busy, but a show like this, very easy to put together. Improv in general, you don't got to have a set or props, costumes. I mean, everything is mimed. There's only 2 of us, and then Mike and Beth equals 4. So not a lot of schedules to work around. So
yeah, it's like, hey, can you do this day? Yeah, I can do this day. Let's do that day.
Yep. We're good then.
But no, we do practice though, which I'm glad we do, because yeah, I think it helps. Practicing improv is something a lot of people don't understand how that's even a thing. How do you practice something that you can't necessarily put up in front of an audience? Because
it's an exercise, right? It's just exercising your brain. It's just exercising your skills. Yeah. Yes.
But as far as knowing what you're going to put on that stage, you have no idea, which is the scary thing, but not the scary thing about doing improv as well. Because you don't know what to necessarily be nervous about, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So how does SHMISH SHMOSH work? Do people throw like suggestions at you, or do you pull things out of a hat, or do you like when you say go, what happens?
Josh, you want to take this one?
Sure. When we first did it, we were brainstorming so many different ideas of themes and kind of concepts that we could do to make it its own unique thing. But then the more that we rehearsed, I feel like personally, the more we realized just our humors and how we collaborate, it kept being its own thing and its own style on its own, without having to put like we're aliens in this one and blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, like having like some sort of go-to shtick. And so I think it really became clear when we started collaborating with Mike and Beth too, because you just see it's for me personally, when you watch 2 people do improv, scene after scene, you're seeing how those 2 comedians collaborate, how they listen to each other, how they bounce off of each other. And in a group show, it's like, it's kind of chaos because it switches each time. But when you're watching 2 people, like from the 2nd to the 4th to the 6th scene, it's just cool to see the how they consistently can collaborate with each other and how they are just like building this show together. And so Patrick always says, like, when Mike and Beth do improv, they're genius comedic minds. So like, I like putting together this show just because I like watching them perform, and obviously I like watching Patrick perform. But I think Patrick always said that Mike said it's like, now the kids can play, and that's when Patrick and I can go up and we do our style, which is high energy and absurd and ridiculous.
Yep. The adults have gone to bed. It's
because it's past their bedtime.
Yeah.
So is it just a natural progression from scene to scene to scene as you're performing, or do you have official ends to scenes, or how does that work?
Well, we kind of made an agreement with each other that we wanted the show to kind of run itself. Like, if there's a scene that is just one line and that's all we need, we'll end that scene right there. But if there is a scene that lasts for 3-4 minutes and then it comes back, like we do a part 2 later in the show, if there is a through line, if there's a character's hero's journey that we're following that person's arc, I mean, it kind of comes down to, let's just kind of let the show lead whatever style we're going with. It's very open that way, which I personally love. I love watching shows that have kind of a gimmick or a theme to it. To be in them, though, I feel it's very the parameters are up. It's like, okay, we have to come back to this character. Even if this character didn't work, the way this show works, you have to come back to this specific character. And with what we do, SHMISH SHMOSH, it's all over the place. If something doesn't work, get rid of it and move on and start something else. But our first scene is the only scene that is a jumping off point for a suggestion from the audience. After that, we'll sweep, and then we just start, and whatever comes to our mind. comes to our mind. So that's kind of freeing as well.
Very cool. Schmitz, how did you get into improv in the first place? Like, what was the thing that you're like, this is a thing I got to do?
Comedy sports for sure. They came to our high school lock-in, I think, senior year, and I saw them. Yeah, it was a prom lock. I can't remember. Post prom. That's what it was. And I was just blown away. And I was like, because I wanted to do acting at that point, and then I saw that, and I went, oh, that's what I want to do.
Oh, right on.
I liked acting, but I knew I liked the social aspect of it way more than I did the art of it. And so, I was in shows where people would be 2 or 3 times my age, and I'm the one, I'm the 18-year-old kid while everyone else is, up there. And I just felt very out of place. It just wasn't this, high school senior show anymore. It was doing theater. And it was intimidating. It was scary. I felt out of place. And then when I got into the world of improv, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just having fun and being silly. This is definitely more my style. So.
Right on.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
Yeah, I had a high school teacher who was connected to comedy sports and got us into improv. And for me, I've always considered myself an actor first. That's what I'm passionate about. So I'm kind of the opposite of Patrick, where I'm like, I love to act, and then improv is like the thing that I get to do on the side. But it's interesting because as I've gotten older, improv has kind of become that thing that whenever you can get in lulls of acting where you're just like, I'm not listening well, or I'm not feeling connected to what I'm doing. I feel like there's no life in what I'm doing. The second I have an improv practice with Patrick, it's weird how you leave that rejuvenated in terms of like, I'm listening better now. I'm actually watching my C partner. Because if you're not, then you can't actually build a scene together. And taking that with me into acting then is always like incredible. So I don't think I'll ever stop doing improv just because it helps me with acting. And it's like the greatest exercise for me.
Yeah, because I'm not sure, people sort of like the patron, side of things. I don't know if patrons are aware of how much improv we actually use in theater itself as an actual exercise to do those very things that you're talking about, where it's, just working something to work people's listening skills and imagination and just using your brain to create a story and invent a line through tale as part of your rehearsal process.
Right.
Well, it's funny because like you can, in acting, sometimes once you memorize it and you commit to this is how I'm going to say this line and this is how I'm doing this, you kind of shut off all those senses sometimes and forget that you are actually doing something in the moment. And so the second you do improv, all of a sudden Patrick will move his elbow weird and you have to look at that. You have to see what he's doing. And taking that from the improv stage to the theater stage is so beneficial, because the moments that feel the most alive to me, just in terms of acting, are when sometimes you can clock in your head like, oh, I'm actually watching this person right now. I'm noticing them move their head differently, and that makes you respond in the moment, which is great. But I think that's why improv is so incredible.
I just that being in the moment and having the awareness of your partner and using them as your spark of genius. Yeah,
taking that outside inspiration and like your head, actually getting out of your head, I should say, because every once in a while, like you'll have those outside eyeballs on yourself while you're acting, and you're like, am I looking cool while I'm doing this? But the second you do improv, it's like, oh, I need to listen to him, because if I miss what he says, we have nothing.
Yeah, totally. So what are the details on the SHMISH SHMOSH? Where are we doing this?
So we had the Comedy Sports Garage, the Farina Arena over at Comedy Sports, 420 South First Street.
Yeah. And then how much are the dollars?
$10.
What?
I know. I know. You would expect
You are
somewhere in the
crazy.
75 to 85 range. Nope, we took it down. We yeah. $10.
And you can take that at the door, yeah?
Yep, cash or card. One
Cash or
or
card at the
the
door.
other. Yeah. And then show starts at 8 and we run about an hour and 15 minutes or so with Mike and Beth going before us and our little intro and thanking the sponsors and all that. So yeah.
You are the greatest with sponsors. every time I watch you, I'm like, I should probably do that.
Oh, they are very helpful. That's for sure.
They are. I'm just really bad at it. I'm like, here, watch show. We make ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
So people should come to SHMISH SHMOSH because it's just a really good time. It's only $10 and you guys are funny and you should just do that.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Great answer as to why.
I got this. And it's Friday, yes?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Usually we do Fridays. This week it's going to be Saturday, mainly because a show was supposed to be scheduled for this Saturday, but we had to push that show back. And what a better thing to fill in the spot than a SHMISH SHMOSH show with Beth and Mike, our friends.
Too right. Fantastic. Yeah. And you can also go to schmitzandgiggles.org to find out more about Schmitz and Giggles and get your tickets and get intel. And can you sign up for a newsletter?
What's that?
Can you sign up for a newsletter?
Sure. Just email me and I'll put you on the newsletter.
Okay.
No, tickets are strictly for this show. Strictly sold at the door.
Oh, strictly so. But you should become familiar with Schmitz and Giggles, and you can do that by going to the website.
Yes. And we have our little punch card that for every show, the Schmitz and Giggles show you come to, you get a punch. And then when we do our talent show, however many punches you have, that's how many raffle tickets go in, and you get the chance to win free admission to all of our 2027 events. So
all 45 of them.
All 40 of them. They're not that little.
So what's next after SHMISH SHMOSH? What is the next?
SHMISH SHMOSH next in April is Improv 22, which is very much like Sketch 22, but with improv groups. And then there's a play, Party of Three. It's kind of a little small one act that I wrote with Beth Lewinsky, Jacob Wolfel, and David Pritchard. So that's going up. Then there's some zombie improv shows coming up. And then August is the big, the Wizard of Oz kind of, sort of. That's going to be our big.
That's your big dog,
Big dog, yes.
Yeah. All right.
And we'll be turning to Inspiration Studios for that, which I'm excited to.
Yay.
I love that space.
How are you going to...
You'll
see. How are you going to fit 75 actors and all the munchkins and all of that on the
Schmitz
Inspiration Studios?
Yeah. You'll see. An army of monkeys will just be one flying monkey, but it'll feel like one flying monkey. That's the beauty.
That is all your sponsors provide is one.
And it's mentioned in the show. Don't worry. It's mentioned.
And we thank them before the show for the one flying monkey.
Yes. That's a nice thing about doing these kind of shows in a space. And even like if the props are cheap in some sense, I mean, just to be able to poke fun at ourselves of, I remember Robbie McGee when he was playing Mackers, he comes in, he's like, come on in, take a seat, grab a mug that definitely wasn't used in a high school production of Beauty and the Beast. Just those kind of pokes, they're fun to.
Budgets are awesome.
Yes.
Budgets are awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on today, for squeezing me into your very busy schedules, and have so much fun this week. And we'll talk to you again later.
Cool. Thank you, Jaimelyn.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those two are just some funny persons, and it was great talking to them and just doing my best to amplify their their program there, and it's incredibly inexpensive, and that venue is a great venue. We actually go a lot there to after show stuff on the weekends. We hang out at the bar there at Comedy Sports. It's a great open little lobby area, bar setup, and fits lots of people. So we like to go there and celebrate. Sometimes I myself have lemonade, since I'm a sober person, and everybody else gets their beverage of choice, but I am a lemonade drinker. And so there you go. That's what we've got for this week. As I said before, I have on my calendar that Renaissance Theater Works will be here next week to talk about Barefoot in the Park. Very excited to talk about that and learn more about that. Neil Simon is not my wheelhouse, so I am thrilled to learn more about Barefoot in the Park, and there you go. So as always, if you have any questions or you have any thoughts or whatever you need to pass along to me, info@mketa.org, info@makita.org, to shout out to me and the rest of the small team that the Milwaukee Theatre Alliance is, and we'll get your message to where it needs to go if you need to talk about anything or ask any questions or anything of that nature. But otherwise, that's all I've got for this week. So have a great weekend. Be well out there, and we'll see you next week on You've Got a Thing. Something. Okay, bye.